Welcome to the Pathmark Presents podcast. My name is Sean Donnelly Lewis, and in today's episode, we're speaking with Emerson Welch. He is the marketing director at Oppolis.com. Emerson, how's it going?
Very well. How are you, Sean?
Yeah, I'm doing well. Thanks for being on the show. Tell us all about Oppolis. Tell us all about what you guys do.
Oppolis, yeah, we make some cloud products. We make cloud products for creative and marketing teams. Just help them bring their whole world together and just make their creative journey a lot easier because it is quite stressful.
Okay. And so you guys working with, are you guys working with big companies or even mom and pop down the street that is trying to pivot with the Corona situation?
Yeah, we've found we span quite a big range, to be honest. We do work with some big companies, some big sort of names that you'd have heard of, but also at the lower level as well. We don't so much go into the freelance world, so we normally work with teams, but it can be anything from 10 or 15 people right through to 5,000 plus. So it really depends on the complexities of their workflows, the kind of challenges they have with their creativity, and how to bring all of their documentation together and get things shared effectively. So anybody who's sort of experiencing those sort of pains, we help them make those gains and use our cloud software to sort of really smarten things up for them. Very
cool. And so how have you been able to grow the company? Has it been a lot of outbound? Has it been digital marketing, SEO, SEM, or have you been more of an inbound driven company?
Yeah, it probably found it has been more inbound. We actually do have an outreach campaign going over in the States at the moment, targeting some very sort of niche markets. But we have found the majority of our growth has been through regular sort of inbound search. We're quite content heavy. We do have a pretty sophisticated blog. We do push out quite some big articles on a regular basis. We found that has helped us. For our key search terms, in particular for our one product, GoProof, which is an online proofing and collaboration tool, which is now pretty well known. So that one regularly achieves top 3 listings on organic search, and that brings us probably the majority of our opportunities. So as long as we keep pumping the content through, keep things fresh, keep things innovative on what we write and what we push up, then we normally find that helps us sort of generate the right kind of leads. I think that is quite important for us because we're in quite a niche space. It's not something we can just throw out there with a ton of money behind it and expect to get loads of returns. Yeah, we do appeal to quite a niche audience. So in that respect, we do have to work out our sort of online content to make sure a lot of keywords and a lot of range is covered off in what we talk about to try and attract those people with very specific issues.
And thinking about the website, what role does the website play in acquiring new clients?
Yeah, and in particular, if we talk about GoProof, for instance, product, we've got 6 or 7 different products that appeal to different creative journeys and different workflows. But if we took GoProof, for example, then it plays a huge role. We're always trying to optimize it and keep up with what's going on in the West Coast of America, who seem to be sort of striking ahead all the time. So we always keep an eye on that. But we also like to be able to capture things with some outreach campaigns, and we do some exhibitions, some big events. We work very closely with Adobe. So our software hooks into Adobe Creative Cloud, so products such as InDesign and Photoshop and Illustrator. So we work with them. We've done some big exhibitions with them. They have their regular creativity conference each year over in the States. So we normally exhibit at that. That gives us some good presence and some good reach into different markets. But really the website captures it all in, and then we feed them into our sort of online trial version journey. And then from that, we bring in human interaction on the onboarding side. I think that's really important. So the website sort of provides the first capture and gives off our brand impression and gives them the feeling of what they're getting into, which is good. But we then like to sort of jump in with some human interaction from our customer success team. So they actually do get to speak to us. They get to talk about what the issues are that they have or the gains that they want to make. And we take those on board and we use those to sort of tailor our presentations, demonstrations, sales responses to make it as personalized as possible.
And the website for every marketeer is something that's always being tweaked. If you were to improve one thing with the website, what would it be? Would it be the ability to convert? Would it be the quality of leads or the user experience?
Yeah, I think the lead quality is something that we're very focused on because we don't just want loads of numbers. We don't just want to go out and bring on companies that are going to fire lots of traffic at us that isn't going to convert. It doesn't really sort of benefit us to have that kind of that number coming in. We're more focused. We'd rather have 5 brilliant leads a day than have 50 people just visiting our website that sign up but didn't really want to go anywhere. Yeah, that if you put that into a scale term, then that's really where we're at. Yeah, we'd much rather have those just hot qualified leads where we know people are the right people that we should be talking to. So yeah, I would say quality is the best thing, but also breadth of content and diversity, cross-product information is quite important to us and will be moving forward. The more that we expand our portfolio, we're really sort of trying to open up the whole ecosystem of Oppolis Cloud, as well as just unique products. We do have specific websites for each product at the moment, so we can bring them in and capture them on those direct pages. We are going through a process of merging those into one oppoliscloud.com site soon as well, which you'll be able to then much easier find your way and navigate around all our different products. But the key thing with us, with Oppolis, is they all work together as one Oppolis Cloud, as one complete system. So whatever your issues are or whatever gains you want to make, you can come in via different areas of the website and find yourself at the center, which is where we give you the best support that we can.
And so coming back to what you guys offer, the cloud service, just for everyone listening, what would you say separates you guys from other people that occupy the same space?
I think it's our Adobe expertise. We've been building plugins and extensions for Adobe Creative Cloud software for nearly 25 years as a team. So yeah, so we're right deep in it, and right from the first time that InDesign, Adobe InDesign was released as a beta version, we've been developing since then. So we've got all that knowledge of what creative teams, what publishers and creative agencies, just as an example, would want to do, and the kind of struggles they come up against. And so that's where we've been building and fixing to make it as easy as possible for them to just sit down and just be creative, rather than have to worry about all the technical aspects of what they're doing. So really what sets us aside is that knowledge of the kind of challenges and obstacles they come up against when they're just trying to get work through from idea through to publishing and delivery.
And so this is part of the show where I get to pick your brain as a marketeer, so no pressure. But when you think of a word like innovation, what would you say is the biggest challenge in marketing to innovation?
Standing out from the crowd, so getting your share of voice out there, and also being salient. It's finding a new way to do that. We've all got a story to tell. We all have some things that we believe passionately in, and we expect people just to, when we tell them, to think, I agree, I think it's brilliant, but it doesn't always work like that. So you've got to find a way to sort of stick out from everybody else, and in a way that you can capture the right people and make sure that you're getting those right people. I mean, one thing I've always thought about is, we quite often in my career working for different software companies, but you always set out to attract what you think is the right person who's going to buy your software, or the right team, or the right company. But it doesn't always work out like that. You always find, particularly when you launch a new product, you think you've got your ideal client profile all laid out. You think you've got it right, and you go out there and you start seeing different kinds of leads coming back, and you get the people you expect to say yes to say no, and vice versa. So it's really having the flexibility and the agility to be able to say, no, we need to switch. We need to step across and do something different, and find a different way to reach that type of the market, because that is clearly working. I mean, to give you an example with GoProof, we in the US we have a number of park districts who use GoProof to do their online proofing of all of their creative work. We didn't expect that at all. We didn't think we'd be marketing to park districts across the US who are now using our software, but that's a fantastic little niche for us. San Diego Zoo is another example, who use us, and museums and so on, hospitals, religious organizations. We really do span a big range of companies that we never thought that we'd actually sort of appeal to. But because they have those processes and they have those same challenges as creative and marketing teams, then we can say, okay, well, we understand them now, and we can start tailoring our messaging and making sure that we stand out amongst the crowd in those particular markets.
And so when I say something like CRO, right, conversion optimization, what would you say is the biggest challenge for that in marketing?
if you're talking something like Google Ads, then it's obviously getting. I mean, they're starting to do their smart advertising now, which is helping. We went through a period of our conversions really sort of slipping down a bit because of all the changes Google were making, because of the competition, the cost per keyword on search, things like that was really sort of challenging us. But they're coming through with some new ideas now, which is helping us. But just conversion in general is good qualification, not spending on leads that you know aren't really going to deliver everything. So try and be sort of more frugal with your budget and put it really where you know things are going to work. But don't be ashamed to try something different, because you'll be surprised what works and what doesn't. So that's always important. But for us, it's trying to, I think the other thing I've learned as well is as you evolve your website, for instance, and your messaging, it's understanding what is now taken as read and taken for granted when people actually come onto your website or use your software. So for instance, the kinds of instructions and the kind of messaging you would have been putting on your software 3 or 4 years ago, you probably don't need to anymore, because people will just naturally now be tutored in actually knowing how to use that kind of thing. So you can start simplifying your UX, you can start making the number of steps and the number of clicks they need to take and do to actually get to a desired place. You can really sort of trim those down. So I think that's a big challenge that we have, and an exciting challenge is just trying to make everything as simple and smooth as possible to get people through our website into our software and start feeling the benefits to them as a team of what our software can actually do for them.
And if you could only focus on one thing to improve the marketing process in general, what would it be? Would it be the road mapping? Would it be the growth initiatives? Would it be the messaging? Or would it be the reporting?
I think growth and reach. I think the more that we could sort of open up and find a wider audience and get them sort of through our funnels quicker, I think that's probably the most important thing for us at the moment. Is just making sure as many people hear about our message as possible that fit into our space. So that's the challenge we have, is bigger outreach, wider reach, but also keeping it within people that we know are going to actually convert and go somewhere.
And just wanting to switch gears here for a second, wouldn't mind talking about you as a leader. What kind of content do you consume to help educate yourself and grow as a person and as a professional?
I like to just keep in touch with the news as much as anything. I just need to hear what people are doing and what they're things like press releases, even if they're just little things on software companies, things like SaaS channels, and just understanding, listening to people who are talking about SaaS software, the kind of challenges they have. Always interested in acquisitions and mergers to see where they're going, because that really does paint a picture. We've had some big ones over the last couple of years with Salesforce and Slack and Adobe and Workfront. And those kind of acquisitions tell you a lot about what people are thinking and where they see the market in 5 to 10 years time. So that's something that I always keep in touch with. And then always looking at search engines, SEO sites, latest news on what people think is going to work and what isn't. Someone gets a snoop out of Google of someone who works there saying, "Oh no, you don't actually need to do this anymore. You can do this," and the whole world suddenly switches gear. So little things like that obviously give you some hints, but really for me, I try and look bigger picture and just understand where the commercial headspace is and where people see things going, and then you can start building that into some kind of strategy that you could evolve your business into meeting.
And so, since we're slowly coming to the end of the interview, I just want to jump into our rapid fire section. So just short and sweet questions. But from you, just be as honest as possible. How's that sound?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Okay. Emerson, what was the last book that you read?
That's going back a bit. It was a suspense thriller. It wasn't Dan Brown, but it's someone very similar. So along those lines.
Okay. What's the single thing that your company is focused on the most at the moment?
Optimizing workflows for creative and marketing teams.
If there were no boundaries in technology, none at all, what would be the one thing you want to have fixed for your company today?
Well, fixed for myself, let me say that. I'd like to see wireless power charging. That would be the dream someday, to walk in a room and everything on you starts charging. Someone will do it one day.
I wouldn't want to have anything charging on it. That sounds like a third-degree burn. What's the last thing that kept you awake at night about your company?
as a marketing director, it's always, are we doing the right thing? Are we going in the right direction? And just waiting to see whether the results pay off or not. And also looking after the team and making sure they're happy. You're always wondering about what they're thinking and how you can make their lives better.
And so if you were to start, let's just say your professional career over again, what would be the one piece of advice you give yourself?
Don't expect things to turn out exactly how you expect them to. I think we've had some interesting changes of direction, but that's always a good thing, especially when you're trying to grow a smaller business. Is that you must expect the bumps in the road and the forks in the road, because that obviously often leads you to the place where you make the most money and you're the most successful and everybody's the happiest. So you've got to go with those and go with the flow and make sure that doesn't stop you on your route to success, because that is part of your route to success.
All right, Emerson Welch, thank you so much for being on the show today. Check out all the work that you're doing at oppolis.com. The last thing on the show is the last word. So if you want to sum up everything that we talked about, or if you feel like there's something that we forgot, I just want to give you the last word today. The floor is yours.
Thanks very much for having me on the show. It's always a pleasure. We just want to help creative and marketing people get better. I mean, it's as simple as that. I'm a really passionate person when it comes to software. Always looking to find new ways to make people work better. And I get my enjoyment, I get my return when I know that our customers are coming through happy, and I know that they're making some big gains and removing all those pains. So for me, that's what I get up for in the morning, is knowing that I'm helping other people really achieve things, and at the same time progressing myself and coming up with new ideas to keep myself fresh.
Thanks for being on the show today, Emerson.
Pleasure. Thank you.